Panther Nation, what's good with y'all, man? Welcome back to another entry to the Sign and Walk series. Next up, we got Taylor Moton, the Big 72. Hey, man, listen, before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, get in the comments, do that duty. Hey, listen, man, we real close to 4,000 subscribers. Last I checked, we about 40 people away. 40 people away. So I'm trying to get there before Monday. We go live every Monday night at 8:30. So it'd be dope to do a 4K giveaway during that show. So that'd be dope. And then, hey man, help us get to 5,000 subscribers too after 4,000. So we're gonna keep growing. We'll keep putting out all this draft content. Keep putting out all the weekly videos. Keep putting out this fantasy content. We got a lot of content. So even if you're not a Panthers fan, then you can enjoy some of the work we do here. All right. That being said, let's get into Taylor Moton, man. Listen, one of the biggest, in fact, the biggest free agent we have coming up. And listen, this is imperative signing. This is imperative signing. I don't even need to really go through it. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I'm gonna spoil it and say we need to sign him. But listen, the thing is that people really need to understand why we need to re-sign him. A lot of people can say, "Hey, let's re-sign the cat," but a lot of people can't thoroughly explain why we need to re-sign Taylor Moton, and that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm gonna do today. All right, but before we get into the reasons why we need to re-sign him, let's go back into go back in history a little bit to see where Taylor Moton came from, kind of give the backstory and how he got to where he is right now. All right. So Taylor Moton, again, was drafted in the second round, 64th overall to the Carolina Panthers, a pick by David Gettleman, who is now the Giants GM. But yeah, it was picked by David Gettleman in 2017, and that pick was actually acquired in a trade with New England. You all remember we traded Coney Ely to New England, and we got a third-round pick. I don't know why they did that. I don't even know if Coney's still in the league at this point, but they gave us a third-round pick for Coney Ely, and we used that third-round pick to go get Taylor Moton. So good move by Gettleman and company, getting rid of Coney Ely because he was not a part of the long-term future of the Panthers. So we got a pick for him. Again, that was a good move. But again, we picked him up in the third round, 2017. All right, so in 2018, Moton started week 1 at left tackle in place of an injured Matt Khalil. Matt Khalil went down, and then he ended up moving to right tackle in week 2 after we went out and signed Chris Clark. You guys remember all the fluctuation on the offensive line back then. But then once we signed Chris Clark, we were able to move Taylor Moton to right tackle, which is his natural position, after Darrell Williams got hurt. So Darrell Williams got hurt, and we had to put Taylor Moton in. It was a crazy season on the offensive line. Really rough start. However, Moton actually really retained that right tackle position in 2019, where he started all 16 games at right tackle for the Panthers. That's when he really solidified that he is the man at right tackle. Again, Darrell Williams was an all-pro right tackle at one point. I know there's jokes out there, and it's true that Darrell Williams is nothing without Chris Manhertz, which is true. You saw it in the Bills game this past week. Darrell Williams ended up signing with the Bills, and we know that Chris Manhertz chipped a lot and helped out Darrell Williams a lot on that right side. So again, which helped him get to that all-pro season. But again, Moton does not need that help. He solidified that right tackle position in 2019. It was his, which allowed us to move on from Darrell Williams. Okay, so he started off 16 games, and then in 2020, the dude was graded as the best right tackle in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. So listen, the dude has done nothing but impress at right tackle. He's been a model of consistency. Very good talent. He's done nothing but if I trust anything, if I trust PFF for anything, it's going to be offensive line grades, just because the way they grade, it's very, very methodical. There's a lot to it, and I don't really know another way to evaluate right tackles or offensive linemen in general, just because it's so difficult. There's so much that goes into it, and I really do trust PFF when it comes to offensive line grades. And he has done nothing but increase that grade year after year after year after year. It's been getting better and better. So shout out to Taylor Moton on that. He's been doing very good. So let's go ahead and jump into the reasons that we're going to go through the age, all the other things that we need to assess as to whether we need to sign or let Taylor Moton walk. I already told you guys that we need to re-sign him, but I'm going to give you the reasons as to why. All right, we're going to break this down. All right, so let's get into his age. Right now, Taylor Moton is 26 years old. He turns 27 in August. So before the season starts next year, he'll be 27 years old. In his prime right now, he's doing great job. He's only 27 years old, still in his prime. He's still going to be good when the Panthers are in our prime, playing our best football. So when we get into that sweet spot, that Super Bowl window, he can still be a part of that. That's very important. 27 years old. And not to mention that offensive linemen can generally play into their mid-30s at a high level. So, again, he's got a good 6 or 7 years worth of football left in him before his play starts to degrade. So, listen, you got to, if it's just on age, you got to re-sign him. He's in his prime right now. You have to, he's got to be a part of the team that takes us to the Super Bowl. All right, so position of value. Yes, position of value. The right tackle impacts the quarterback. He protects the quarterback, which is what? The most valuable position in football. Yes, you got it. The most valuable position in football is the quarterback position, and it's the right tackle's job to protect the quarterback. So, yes, the quarterback is a valuable position. So, yes, that checks that box. Now, durability. I mean, dude, this man doesn't have any major injuries. And speaking of that, listen, he's played right tackle every offensive snap this season. Incredible. Every snap he's been on the field. So that's incredible. And then even in going to the previous 2 years, he played 99.5% of snaps. 99.5%. Come on, dog. That is durability at its finest. Okay, it gets no better than his durability. He doesn't get injured very often. He's a tough cat. And listen, he's very durable. He's very durable. The proof is in the pudding, all right? Now his asking price. Asking price. The franchise tag. Now, there's two options here we can go. The franchise tag. The franchise tag is $14 million. So that's going to be probably slightly under his real asking price. So you can probably get away with signing him tagging him and letting him play on that franchise tag. That's not the ideal scenario because realistically, you can tag him and then that gives you time to knock out or hammer out a long-term deal. And realistically, you can say, all right, the first year of your deal, we're going to knock it way down. We're going to give you the veteran minimum and just backload the deal. All right, that you could do it that way. It's just all on how the deal is structured. You can go about it several ways. But the franchise tag is only a tool to get you to a long-term deal. The franchise tag generally is not meant for guys to play on. Sometimes it does happen, but most of the time it's for a guy it gives you time to negotiate a longer-term deal. So worst case scenario, you can franchise tag him and let him play on the franchise tag all year, but that should not be the case. You need to get a long-term deal hammered out. Now, as far as what he's looking for, he's probably going to be looking for a $15 to $17 million deal, okay? So that's a lot of money to sink in the left tackle, in the right tackle. It just is what it is. It is what it is. You have to pay it. And again, Lane Johnson right now, if you go and look at Over the Cap or Spot Track, whatever your choice of salary cap tracking or your salary cap tracker, you'll see that Lane Johnson is getting paid $18 million per year. Lane Johnson getting paid $18 million per year. However, there's a little nuance in that because there's a restructure involved. So some of his money is that $18 million is really not indicative of the right tackle market. I would say the right tackle market is around $15 to $16 million, but I can see Moton getting upwards of $18 million if he really pushed the envelope. So now we're getting into whether his production is replaceable or not. Listen, you're going to be hard-fetched to replace this man's production. It's going to be really difficult. I have found an interesting stat using PFF statistics. In 657 dropbacks, or pass attempts, Moton has only given up 2 sacks and only 20 pressures, okay? 20 pressures. That is a pressure every 32 snaps. So that's 1 pressure every 32 dropbacks. That's less than 1 pressure per game. Incredible stat. That's an incredible stat. There's only a couple of guys a couple of right tackles that are doing it at that level. So you're talking about Jack Conklin, who's given up 1 pressure every 40 attempts or 40 dropbacks, which is incredible. And then you're talking about Tristan Wirfs, who is playing in the Super Bowl. He's given up a pressure every 32 dropbacks. And they dropped back. They had about 817 dropbacks. So that's an incredible stat for Tristan Wirfs as a rookie. Incredible play. So you're going to have to be a special talent to do what Taylor Moton is doing right now at the right tackle position. This is why you have to pay this man. I'm going to go ahead and say it. You have to pay the dude. I don't care. You pay this man. Pay this man whatever he's worth. And the reason why a deal hasn't been done right now is because he knows his worth. He has all the leverage. He has all the leverage, okay? All the leverage. Just sign this man no matter what it takes. Make it happen. You have to do it. You have to sign 72, okay? Sign this man to a $15 to $18 million deal. Get it done. And here's why. If you get it done, he's going to really be the only guy on your offensive line in the long term that you're going to have to pay. You're going to end up, hopefully, if you do this right, which common sense is you do this right, you're going to have to draft a left tackle, right? We're going to have to draft a left tackle in this draft, presumably. Draft a left tackle. You draft a couple of guards, which you can get later in the draft. You can draft a couple of guards, and then pair this in the short term is the only guy you're playing on that offensive line. The only guy you're paying, on that offensive line in the short term. Okay, so you can draft a center in the long term to get all the offensive linemen off the payroll. So that being said, Taylor Moton would be the only guy you have to pay. So you have to pay him. Just pay this man. Just pay this man. If you do it right and build through the draft, Taylor Moton in the long term is going to be the only high-paid lineman if you do it right. So pay this man. I know we have about, $20-30 million dollars in cap space right now. That if you cut some guys, you can get more cap space. I understand that. But just pay this man. Tag him and then pay him. Get this deal done. Just get it done, okay? You're not going to find a guy as durable as him. We just talked about that. There's no depth behind him. Again, going back to the same exercise we did with Rasul Douglas. There's zero depth behind him. You're talking about Greg Little, who can't stay on the field. And then even when he had opportunities to play, they didn't even play him. Matt Rule didn't even play this dude, okay? So they tend to not like him. The proof is in the pudding there. And then you have Trenton Scott, who can play left and right tackle. But I would say that he's probably going to be more of a left tackle if we don't draft a guy this year. So there's no Trenton Scott and Greg Little are the only two tackles on the roster right now. What else are you going to do? What are you going to do? You have no choice but to pay this man. And listen, let me just say this. There is no one to blame. Look me in my eyes right here, right now. There is no one to blame but David Tepper and Matt Rule if this doesn't get done, okay? If we don't get this done, David Tepper, Matt Rule, you are to blame, okay? There is no Marty Herney. There is no David Gettleman. There's nobody else to blame at this point. This deal must get done. Get it done ASAP, all right? Listen, I'm so hopeful that I'm so confident that this gets done that I'm going to give away this jersey right here. When this deal gets done, come back and tell me that I said that I was going to give this jersey away. This 72 jersey that I have on right now, I'm going to give it away once this deal is done, all right? All right, deal. That being said, make sure you hit the like button.
Daddy, make sure some tag along Girl Scout cookies.
Go ahead. That being said, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.